Hello, one and all. Welcome to the live stream. It is yours truly, the Kung Fu Panda of Physics, the Tony Stark of the trailer park, the one who knows the UFOs, the commander of the civilian UFO response team, Omega Prime himself. Hi, nice to see you. And I hope everyone is well this evening. I am. I am rolling, Wyatt, as they say. And I come bearing gifts of information and buggery. We are going to be discussing several topics today, and among them is first and foremost, I would like to take this time to observe a moment of silence for Nick Pope. Nick Pope was very important to the UFO community. He was a stalwart supporter of those who report their experiences and was brave enough to give us a good deal of UFO information, which helped propel the subject into the mainstream where it still remains today. So I would like to just take a moment, if you don't mind, and let's just observe a moment of silence for him. Thank you, Nick Pope. Hey, Garrett, nice to see you. Glad you made it. Thank you for being here. I'd also like to talk about some other things which are important right now in the news, flying under the radar because everything has gone batshit. Everything's gone batshit insane. So there are some crazy things being done right now that's flying uh, flying under the radar, much like the UFOs themselves. Um, in the past 12 months, 6 scientists who have been uh, connected somehow with the UFO topic of UFO research have either died in strange ways or gone missing. 6 of them in the last 12 months. If anyone thinks that's a coincidence, you are crazy. General McCaslin still missing. Do you think that's weird? Now, with McCaslin, I don't think it's foul play on the part of the government. I think that this was motivated possibly by that, but definitely not, I think, a direct threat. Um, oh, by the way, what do you think? You like the beret? Huh? The gray berets. Yeah. I've decided to name our organization the Civilian UFO Response Team, that we will be forever called the Gray Beret Spartans. Tenera Lineum, which is Latin for hold the line. The Gray Beret Spartans hold the line. Oh, thanks. I like the glasses too. I'm really rocking these lately. They're very nice. They are great at hiding how high I am. Anyway, I'm working on the course right now. I want to put together a manual. I have patches. You don't see a patch on here yet. I have to. I have them on order, and they're taking forever to get here. But I have every person who graduates the program will be given 2 patches. And yeah, hey, nice man. Hey, right on. Peace, man. Um, and so anyone who graduates the course, you'll be given a certificate. You get a free copy of the manual, a couple of patches, and you will be expected to perform your civilian duty in the time of, what is it called? Catastrophic disclosure. Catastrophic disclosure. Now, people think, oh, you're silly, you're cosplaying. You know how people are, they're assholes. So, what they don't understand is that I'm not a monster. Mm, I'm just ahead of the curve. And that's not a crime because where I was talking about catastrophic disclosure like a year ago, yeah, where I was talking about it like a year ago, like, hey, what happens when one of these things crashes into, a fucking middle school, right? Well, now the Coalition for UAP Studies 3 days ago came out with, hey, what if there's catastrophic disclosure? Hey, man, if you're going to follow me, my haters, let me give you a good show, you know, like at least quote me properly, at least give me credit where credit's due. I was the one talking about catastrophic disclosure a year ago, came out with guidelines, right? Now I'm turning that into a course and I'm turning it into a network of civilian responders. I'm making moves right now while the rest of these people are sitting around on their podcasts and trying to sell their merch. I'm out here at the grassroots level. That's right. Go get them. Yeah. But I'm starting things at the grassroots level. I'm recruiting people who are from the civilian world because military isn't looking out for us. Military's trying to cover their own ass on UFOs. They don't give a damn about us. And so we have to take care of ourselves. And I'm taking the initiative to start a program and a civilian response team that can take care of things in their state, in their communities. That we are taking personal responsibility for our own safety since the government has, until just recently, been willing to inform us about what's going on in the world, right? Mm, mm. Tonight's episode is brought to you by some strain called uh, Cheese Nerds and the always delicious Dr. Pepper. 23 flavors. Bitch, it's cherry. Come on. Who you fooling? You see what I mean? Everything's a lie, bro. People lie to me, man. It's got 23 flavors. Yeah, it has one, cherry, and I like it. Okay, so anyway, the Gray Beret Spartans. This is the new civilian UFO response team program that I'm putting together. And I am hoping that at least a significant percentage of you will want to be a part of this because it's important. Um, ooh, Dr. Pepper Zero. Dude, don't hate yourself. Don't hurt yourself, Garrett. Have some sugar. It won't kill you. Okay. I mean, unless you're diabetic and then it will kill you, then don't listen to me. But, you know, sugar, man. That's good stuff. Um, so yeah, hell yeah, man. You are definitely in. So I'm writing this course right now, which will be in manual form. There is a certificate of completion. There are some guidelines that are important to follow that you will find out. And a very minimal fee, cover the cost of materials. This is not a profit making venture for me. This is so people can afford to do this. I want as many people as possible to be able to be gray berets and that we hold the line. That is what's important here is that when the military and the civilians meet at a catastrophic disclosure site, in other words, a crash site, we need someone in between. We need a liaison between them. And that's why I came up with the motto for our team is that tenere lineum. We hold the line. We are the line between the military and catastrophe and the civilians. We run interference between them. We are there to help the military. Okay, we're not there to break balls. We are not there to do anything bad, interfere. We are there to facilitate their efforts to contain and clean the site, and then we liaise between them and the civilians who will be trying to get too close, who will be trying to grab items, who will be trying to do things that they should not be doing. And we need to be there to protect society from itself, from its own ignorance, while we let the military and assist the military in helping them not cover anything up, but to help them contain and clean the site and remove the debris. And um, hey, just watch Splashdown. Yeah, hey, yeah, right. Congratulations to Artemis on making everything back safely. I'm very happy to hear that they made it and they returned all happy, all splashy and happy. I'm very glad to hear it. Congratulations to them. Well done. And again, not a to infinity and beyond by William Shatner lyrics may resonate with the mission. Yeah, for sure. Right? Rocket Man. Yeah. Um, oh, I'm getting some interest from some major podcasts on doing interviews again, and I'm considering doing interviews again. I think it's time to get back out there. Taking a break for a while, been focusing on my career and trying to get some things in my life straightened back around. Now that I am not being abducted any longer, I'm very happy about that, and so I'm starting to get back into a life again after all these years. And I needed to take some time to do that. But now I feel ready to get back out there, start fighting the good fight, start taking it to these scientists and these um, wannabe debunkers, man. That's all they are. They're just wannabes who are out here trying to argue the same old talking points that I have, and not just me, but many others have shot down a million times. Mm. And we and it's getting harder and harder to live in that bubble of denial, right? Um, but I want to talk to you about the scientists that have died in strange ways or gone missing. Um, and listen, while I hope this is not true, this is a theory of mine, okay? And while I hope it is not true, I do have a theory. And the theory is that they um, unfortunately might be getting wiped out due to something that I would call like the Order 66, like uh, the Lazar protocol, where if you get traded out or they trade up, you have to go. And I think that that could be what they're doing is they're plugging leaks so they don't have any more, enormous information leaks like they had with Bob Lazar. I mean, look at what Bob Lazar did. I mean, he was like the first one to ever like really he stabbed them in the back so hard. I think it was the first time they had ever encountered anything like that, and they didn't know how to handle it. So he had time to actually get to um, the press and go public before they offed him. And I think they're not going to put up with that anymore. I think now they are going to be proactive. And if you are too close to the program and they trade you out, well, bye bye. See you later. That you have to go. I hope that's not true, but it certainly seems to be based on the evidence that we're seeing, right? Um, and well, I think he might have known and established witnesses. Hey, the thing with Lazar was, he fucked that up on his own. That was an unforced error on his part. He wasn't being some altruistic whistleblower. He was an asshole showing off his high level security clearance and the trust that the United States government had placed in him as a researcher and a scientist, given the opportunity of a lifetime, and he threw it away to move up two places on somebody's fucking MySpace page. And then when it got out of his control, and instead of like this person tells this person, and this person tells this person, because apparently no one can keep their mouth shut in America, that then like one time 150 people showed up at one of these tests or these testing times that they were having out there, and he blew up his own spot, you know? And I think that what he did was deplorable. He had the opportunity to really learn some things and maybe to really help guide where some of this goes. And he chose to sell it out for like 15 minutes of fame. And then when he got caught, when he got fired, when he realized, uh-oh, it's all over for me. Then he went crying to, George Knapp and the news cameras and the Joe Rogan podcasts and anybody who would, I want to talk about UFOs. And so everyone would stick a microphone in his face. And so he became too public to take out, because if they killed him after that, well, then now it looks like, oh, he was right. It would add weight to his words. But I think now they're wise to it, and they're going to handle things a lot differently. And unfortunately, I think that's why those scientists are missing. Um, for Bob Lazar, like staying in the light of the public eye, it's the only way to stay alive now. You see, and a while back, George Knapp had published a video with Jeremy Corbell, who he was saying, "Oh, well, yeah, they asked Lazar to, you know, they asked him to testify before Congress, and I told him not to." What? What do you mean you told him not to? They just basically came out and said, "Hey, we're his gatekeepers, man. We're his handlers." Mm. Because that's why people are like, "Oh, hey, did you watch this Bob Lazar thing?" Nope. Nope. I don't care what he has to say. I don't care, because he is doing everything he can to profit off of his fumbling and bumbling and his betrayal of the United States, the commitment he made to the government when there was no reason to do it at the time other than selfish, self-centered interests. And then after he lost everything because he made a terrible mistake, and now he wants to profiteer off of it, but he doesn't want to go on the record like a big boy and say, this is what's really going on. He's had 30 years to testify in front of Congress. And well, George Knapp told him not to. But he's still coming out with specials. He's still making that paper. He's still getting paid. He's still getting attention. But he just isn't going to do anything to help us. Fuck Bob Lazar. Fuck Bob Lazar right in his crinkly fucking asshole for all I care. I don't care about him. Is he telling the truth? I think he is telling the truth. I just don't care. And because he is not in it for us. He's in it for him. And by the way, people like him are going the bye-bye anyway. They're going the bye-bye anyway. In a few seconds behind. Stream gets slaggy. It's not you, it's my internet. Oh, my bad, man. I'll try to talk slower. But I don't think people like him are going to be necessary much longer. Yeah, because I don't know why. Why literally no one, including most of you, are literally paying no attention. But the government disclosure has happened. Did you see? Did you notice? I posted it twice. And like none of you seem to have any reaction whatsoever. I posted it twice just to make sure like you missed it. I was like, oh well, maybe they missed it. People are busy. No, fucking 3 likes. Like, shame on that. So for those who have stubbornly remained uninformed, Tennessee Congressman Tim Burchett has gone on the public record now and has told the world that we have been that we have off-world tech and non-human off-world entities have been in contact with humans. He was briefed by our own military on this and told, yes, we have tech. Yes, we have had contact with non-human off-world entities, or as we used to call it back when everyone was sane, an alien. Aliens have been in contact with humans. that we have off-world tech. Yeah, I'm not sure if you've noticed this or not, but I've told you this. I've told you this for years. Of course it's true. Of course it's true. You have to purposely lie to yourself to think this isn't true. And I want to hear what Neil deGrasse Tyson has to say about this, that he knows more than the military. He knows more than Congress. He knows more than an abductee. He knows more than everyone, right? No, he is a smug dickhole who sits in his little ivory tower on his stacks of cash, being the biggest dilettante that science has ever produced. No facts, denial, arrogance, ego, but no facts, no evidence, won't engage anyone intelligent in a fair debate, right? No, but he thinks he knows everything. And what he's done is he's gaslit everyone into being just as arrogant and resistant to the truth as he has been. Oh, and the hat goes deeper, okay? The hat goes deeper. Congressman Matt Gaetz. Yeah, I know. Okay. But he's still a congressman. And he's still in on these secret UFO committees that they have. By the way, they have secret UFO committees in Congress where you have to be in a skiff. You have to be in a classified area to hear information about something that people like Neil deGrasse Tyson says it doesn't exist. Oh, it doesn't exist. That's why they have the anomalous whatever blah 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 arrow. Uh, that's why they have files, classified files on UAPs. If they're classified, why classify them if they don't exist? If they're not real? If they're fucking swamp gas reflected off of a weather balloon trapped in, why? Because it's real. We don't have I bet we don't have any files on unicorns or bridge trolls. I bet we don't, because they don't exist. And things that don't exist cannot create evidence for their own existence. Okay? So when we have UFOs that have given us every form of evidence known to man that is possible to record in every single possible way, in ways that corroborate and all point at a single fucking answer, I mean, my God, man, you have to be willfully fucking stupid, willfully ignorant, willfully resistant to logic and facts. And people like that are not intelligent. They are too proud. They're too arrogant. They are too full of themselves to be intelligent. Intelligence requires humility. And I can tell you, life humbles me on the regular. Okay? On the regular. But Matt Gaetz, he's a congressman. He's in on these secret committees about UFOs. Came out and said publicly on the record, again, on the record, that the aliens and the government are engaged in some kind of, wait for it, hybridization breeding program. Boom! I fucking told you, man. I told you this is what they're doing. Now, here's what they said. They're doing what they admitted was the opposite. Instead of, I'm saying that the gray alien that talked to me, he said that they were doing this with humans. Okay. And what they said, what Congressman Gaetz said, is that humans are doing this with aliens. Like, I guess, like aliens are forcing us to do these breeding programs that are abductees. Well, we're doing this to aliens that we've captured. We're doing the same thing. And, the gray told me that they're doing this to save their species, and that the government traded away abduction rights in return for tech. What Burchett is telling you, he's been briefed by our own military who are involved in this, is exactly what I told you long before they ever said it. Well, sort of, except for the opposite, right? It's the opposite. That they're making captured aliens mate with humans for hybridization. But that's exactly what the Greys told me they were doing as well. It makes perfect sense that our government would do it as well, creating double agents, hybrids that could infiltrate theirs, like a genetic Cold War. And listen, I know I sound maybe a little Alex Jones-ish, yeah, a little Alex Jones-ish, yeah. A genetic Cold War. That's what we're doing. That's what we're facing right now, an invasion, right? But, you know, this narrative and my testimony fit together like bookends. And if you want to know who's on the level in this UFO world, which is very difficult to navigate, it really is. Um, look, uh, look for who provides evidence, who has no financial agenda, whose accounts match up to other known parts of reality. It's called discernment. Okay. And some people have literally zero discernment. Let me give you an example. Now, listen, this is how far in Plato's cave some people are. I watched a guy on a channel. I won't say the channel. Okay. But I was watching him react to uh, Representative Burchett. And this person, after hearing two different congressmen confirm the existence and contact of ET, said, and I shit you not, I'm still waiting for someone to stand behind a podium and tell us. What? Yeah. And guess what? I'm still waiting for Charlize Theron to return my emails. Okay. Good luck to both of us. And also, Charlize, as always, if you're watching, Ekes lief vir. So it's one thing, it's one thing to need hit in the head with a brick to get something. Okay. Some people are just like that. But people like this, these people just don't need hit with a brick. They need hit with the pointy, they need hit with a corner before they feel it. I've never seen anything like the rampant cognitive dissonance being displayed by the United States and even other countries. I feel like a sane man sitting and watching the world go insane. If you feel that way, drop me a like so I can see how many of us are still left out here. I mean, how many of you would also be unproductive to platform like me, huh? How many of you would like to be unproductive to platform? Because if you truly would, then I have a recommendation for you. And it is to pick up the sponsor of tonight's video, Cosmic Blind Spot: Why Neil deGrasse Tyson is Wrong About UFOs. Because that's how this is a manual of how to become unfuckwithable. Right. And, no, they don't find a way around every bit of evidence. No, they don't. We let them get around it. You see, that's the problem, Chris, is we have let them do it because people aren't well armed enough with the truth. That's hence the book, right? I'm not here to pat people on the fanny and make them feel good about this subject. It's time for some to knock off the nonsense. It's time to call out the charlatans. It's time to bring an end to their narrative. It is time to fight back with truth and science and logic in a way that they cannot cope with. Look at Neil deGrasse Tyson. I wrote a book with his face and his name on it. Says you're wrong. And the world's biggest mouth, the world's most famous astro narcissist, wants zero to do with me. Little old me, who, by the way, is gaining traction. I got some really nice podcasts looking me up right now, wanting to give me a platform, which I'm looking forward to if it works out. But you know, the unproductive to platform thing, it just cracks me up. That is the most polite way of saying I don't want any of you that I've ever heard. And it was given to me, the moniker of unproductive to platform was given to me by the channel Bad Boy of Science, which I have to tell you kind of brings out my Christopher Walken, because I only have one question for him. Bad boy, what you gonna do when the sheriff RL comes for you? Bad boy, you don't want none. Unproductive to platform. Oh, man. And, yeah, looking forward to the new evidence guidelines. Yeah, I'm looking forward to them too, because then evidence will finally have guidelines, because science has not given you any. That's why they have no way to win this argument. They're like, well, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. What's evidence? I mean, what can I provide for you? Uh, uh, okay, and by the way, once you figure out what that is, explain to me the method by which I can go ahead and get that for you. Uh, they don't have any answers. They have no idea how to study the subject. Steady telling you. By the way, telling you, you need to do this and you need to prove that and you need to do this. No, motherfucker, you're the scientist. You need to go out into the field. You need to research it. You need to come up with your standards. You need to do your own work and stop asking civilians to do the job of academically trained people. Okay. You're always reminding us how we're not scientists, but expecting us to do your work for you. No, you do your work for you. I'm going to do the civilian work of creating a response team who goes out and makes sure that the catastrophe that you're going to cause by keeping people ignorant doesn't get worse. And while I'm doing that, what they need to do is get their arrogant ass into a laboratory and start running some forensic tests, start coming up with some standards and some baselines so that we can handle the reality of what is already happening instead of questioning the reality that we can plainly see. That's all there is to it. And I am never, ever going to shut the fuck up about it, ever. This people are, oh, is it personal? It is personal. I'm tired of being abducted. I don't get abducted anymore. Now I'm going to start abducting these little fuckers. I'm going to abduct an alien. That's my next plan. See how they like it. Because it's time to turn this around. And the only way that we do that is by stop thinking like victims, stop telling ourselves that we're helpless, stop telling ourselves it's not happening, and get up and do something. Be proactive. And that is what the CURT Gray Beret Spartans are all about. We are like the Madison Valley Thunderbolts. Yes, we are the new Avengers. We are the ones who will hold the line between the civilians and the military. And by the way, one of the things that I want to pass along to you is um, our job is to encourage civilians to record everything. We just keep them at a safe distance. We provide a buffer zone between the military and the civilians. We encourage them record, take all the pictures, record everything you want. Yes, document this so the military can't cover it up, but also let's help out the military keep people away from the site in a safe way that prevents them from being in any danger. And we are the ones who hold that line. And I'm very proud of this idea and the formation of this this young organization. But it's not about evidence guidelines because as responders, I'm not there to investigate. I am there to protect the public and to assist the military, not there to investigate. But if science would come up with some guidelines for us, then maybe they would have an argument for what we have or what we don't have. But when you provide no guidelines, you have no baselines, you don't have anything. Well, then what you have is a fistful of bullshit that you're trying to pass off as a bunch of pseudoscientific, smokescreen. Doesn't work on me. This cuts through the fog. It cuts through the semantics. It tells you what they're really saying to you. You see, as a forensic linguist, I know what someone said, but I know what they're really saying. That's the difference, and that's what we need to do. We need to take it back to them and fight them back and make them do their job, for fuck's sakes. They need to do their own job. Anyone who is not studying the UAP phenomenon as a scientist gets no say. You get no time. You get your opinion is, with respect, do. It is poo poo caca. No one should ever listen to you. And that's who people like Neil deGrasse Tyson are. Professor Dave, the Simon Dan's gross. Just 1 calorie. Not science enough. Now, I want to talk to you about something called trauma IQ. Okay. So, if you don't know what that is, I want to talk about it. Traumatic intelligence, often termed traumatic IQ or trauma informed awareness, is a specialized form of heightened awareness and cognitive processing developed as a survival mechanism following severe or chronic trauma. It manifests as acute intuition, intense environmental scanning, deep empathy, and the ability to detect danger or emotional shifts in others instantly. Does that sound familiar to anyone? Because they're playing my song right there. They really are. Some of the key aspects of trauma IQ is hypervigilance, always scanning, always scanning, always scanning. The ability to immediately walk in and read a room, analyze people's motives, or notice small details to ensure safety. Rapid pattern recognition, detecting familiar danger patterns, emotional shifts in a partner or boss to predict and evade conflict. Then there is emotional intellectualization. It means, and I do this, I'm very guilty of this, analyzing my pain or trauma analytically rather than feeling it, right? Which can act as a defensive mechanism to remain functional. And I do this quite often. In fact, I consider this part of my Sherlock syndrome that I have, where I remember the part of the movie, like in the first Sherlock Holmes, Robert Downey Jr., Guy Ritchie, um, where a guy, he's like in this bare knuckle boxing match, and he's like, "Okay, big man, you won." The guy spits in the back of his head, and he's like, "This mustn't register at an emotional level." I was like, "Oh my god, that's my brain. That's how I am." I'm like, "Okay, I'll process this later, but right now, this is what I'm going to do." And so, yeah, so I really understand that the emotional intellectualization. Now, part of this could be because of chronic trauma from abductions or from past life experiences, and I don't mean past lives, I mean experiences in my past. Um, it could be because of my autism that maybe I do that naturally, but I don't think that the abductions help. And then there's survival strategies, understanding the 7 F's of survival: fight, flight, freeze, fawn, flock, flood, and flop to manage responses to trauma. They forgot two: feed and fuck. They left those two. There's really seven. It's actually nine. But um, fight, flight, freeze, fawn, flock, flood, and flop to manage responses to trauma. So we all have our own way of how we're going to deal. We're going so when I hear, fight, flight, freeze, fawn, flop, what I really hear is like dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge, right? Like that's what we have to do and find a way around, to cope with things. So we have hyper awareness, hyper vigilance, survival intelligence, survival mindset, trauma informed insight, hypercognition, and then a complex PTSD awareness. We know we are traumatized. We know we are hurt or broken, right? And so when we have these things, so here's the thing, the differences from general intelligence. So while high general IQ can help in avoiding trauma, severe ongoing trauma can actually reduce overall IQ by up to 30%, according to some studies. And this traumatic intelligence is therefore a reprioritization of mental resources, sacrificing cognitive and analytical speed for increased survival, social detection, and emotional regulation. And I believe this is really true. This last part I really wanted to get out there because I have had a lot of things on my mind and my head for quite a while. But I seemed, because of the repeated abductions, it's like it keeps you stuck. It keeps you wandering back and forth, and you can never get quite mentally set before the next upset wave hits you. And over the past 2 years, since I am not getting uh, abducted anymore because of the precautions I have taken, well, I have cranked out 2 books in the past 2 years. Okay. I've cranked out 2 books. This is a bestseller in astronomy and knocked Neil deGrasse Tyson out of his number one spot in astronomy while simultaneously criticizing him heavily. Beneath the Haunted Sky. And then uh, after that, the next year, I came out with Cosmic Blind Spot, number 7 on the bestseller list on Amazon. I wrote a paper on the entropy of compression as a way to tie together Newton's and Einsteinian physics in a way that answers everything and creates a unified field theory. And I did that, like, I don't know, in February. So it's like, since my mind has been able to not be repeatedly disturbed by abductions, my psyche, my stress level, my trauma level has lowered and lowered and lowered. I have a new career that I work on furiously, that I am extremely gifted at, and happily successful. And then now, after the pause, the healing, and now, man, I am churning and churning and churning and churning, and my brain has come back to what I feel like is my full or maximum capacity, which is frightening for these guys, because I'm not walking through the fog of abduction, survival, or trauma anymore. That my survival IQ is now being surpassed by my natural IQ. And I would like to encourage everyone who, if you heard these things and you're like, that's me, oh, you're talking about me, I want you to come up with strategies to prevent this trauma, to deal with it in healthy ways, and lower your trauma IQ so your natural IQ can come back to life again and start serving you, because that's when you'll be productive. Um, and so I have a lot of struggles like this as a just as an autistic person in general. Sometimes I have trouble getting started. But the thing is that, for people say, "How are you so good at everything?" Because I've quit more things than you've started, and I'm still a procrastinator. I'm still like, I don't know. I don't know. Because I think about every like bad thing that can happen or what have you. But that has become so much less and less. I'm becoming a more positive person, a nicer person, a more patient person. I've noticed the symptoms of complex PTSD start to deflate, start to lessen. I can sleep when I sleep. I sleep at the times I need to avoid abductions, but I sleep now and I feel good. My drinking is regulated. My weed intake regulated. Like, I don't overdo it. I don't feel the need to get drunk or to kill pain. You know, I feel that healing taking place, and I like it, and I want that feeling more than I want the feeling of, you know, over consumption, right? And I think that's how we know that we're healing inside. And I'm trying to reach out and do bigger things. I want to be a leader in this community in a way that is productive for us, that serves the people. Because the military is taking care of the military, the government's taking care of the government, law enforcement takes care of law enforcement. Who's taking care of us? Me. I'll help take care of us. I'll come up with a plan of what we can do. And it may not be a perfect plan at first. Everything needs improvement, but I'm willing to make those improvements. And I'm willing to do anything I can to help keep this public safe until such a time that they are properly informed at the mass level, by real information. And I will be here as your guardian as the guardian of humanity and as the commander of the civilian UFO response team, the Gray Beret Spartans. Tenera Linnaeum. We hold the line. Stay away from random distractions. Yes, I think about as many possible outcomes that could happen and then work around and try to think of positive probabilities. Yeah, it's like you have to become a fucking time wizard, and you have to explore every multi-dimensional timeline to think, okay, well, what could happen? Well, is this possible? Well, I don't know. It's highly unlikely, but the way things are going, you could talk yourself into or out of anything with that kind of mindset, right? And so anyway, I want to encourage you guys to, when the class comes out, which I'm hoping next couple of months. I work a lot of days and hours at my regular job, and then I am working on this in the nighttime when I am. When the rest of you are asleep, I'm up working on this instead of being abducted. And so I hope that you have interest in this, that you would like to learn everything there is about the safety and responsibility of not just looking out for ourselves, not just for our families, but for our communities, that we have to take this seriously. And there is a way to do that, and there's a way to do it safely and responsibly, and in a way where we are not seen as an intrusion, but an asset by both the military and the civilian population alike. And I would like for each and every one of you who join this community to behave with the utmost care and seriousness when it comes to our responsibility to our people around us and to those who put it all on the line to mitigate these disasters. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and take off. I have had a wonderful time talking to you guys, and I'm very happy to see you. I hope you like the beret. I'm kind of rocking it right now. I kind of like it. Hopefully, patches will be in next week, and I'll be able to show you what they look like on the beret. And I will see you guys next Friday. Okay, go and please go to the like, subscribe, yeah. But if you would, even more, go watch the videos of Tim Burchett and Matt Gates telling you disclosure has happened. They disclosed to us. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it, Chris. Uh, I get the nod of approval from you. I know I'm doing something. I'm doing something right, so I will stick with it. But in all seriousness, go watch. Disclosure has happened. Disclosure has happened. I'll say it one more time for the cheap seats. Disclosure has happened. It's real. And more than that, it's exactly the way I fucking told you it was. And it will always be the way I told you it is, because I told you the truth, and I've been telling you the truth the whole time, and you will never find anything that I've ever told you that is untrue. And this is a great vindication, not just for all abductees, but for myself in particular, because I see the validation that I've had to take the slings and arrows for a long time. But now they're coming out, and everything they're saying is everything I've been telling you this whole time, everything I've told you in these books. It's all true. And the sooner you believe it, the sooner that we can do something about it. So I love you guys, and I am super, super proud of each and every one of you who want to be a part of this, and I truly appreciate you. I'll see you soon, and if I get any news about those new podcasts who want to interview me, I'll let you know. All right? I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.